Right, so I've had the Garmin Cirqa for a few days now. It's been on my wrist and really enjoying this. But there is one accessory that you kind of just, well, I feel like it's a must-have for the Garmin Cirqa, and that is this, the Garmin Cirqa armband. Now, this is the packaging, really simple. Let's just get rid of that because I've already taken it out and I've been using it. So if we take a look at it, it's similar to the regular strap, the wrist strap here. It's Velcro fastening and it's got the same loop, and on the inside it's got the same 14mm watch style connections. This is the arm small to medium, which I've got here, and I would say it just fits. So if you've got slightly larger arms than me, my arms are not particularly big, but I would probably go for the larger size or give you a bit more flexibility on placement on the arm. This works, but yeah, probably I should have gone for the larger size. But in terms of stretchiness, if I open it up, it's a little bit stretchy. It's not super stretchy, but let's just see how we get it onto the armband itself. So I'm going to take it off my wrist and kind of just to make sure you get it in and on in the right way, just make sure you orient this and this in the same direction so you can get it off and get it back on in the same way. Now these watch pins are unfortunately a little bit fiddly. This is probably the worst part of the Cirqa, the way they've designed this. I can understand why they've done it because it's kind of a universal easy connection to replicate, but personally I think they could have done this better. So you take the watch pin, feed it in at the bottom, and then on the opposite side, well, I'm a bit jittery today, too much coffee. Right, anyway, you just pull this down and see, it's fiddly. You pull this little bit down here, and even my ham-fisted hands can manage it eventually. And then again, on this side, into here, oopsie. Got to get it fed into there. It's very fiddly, very fiddly. Garmin, this is the worst part of the Cirqa, really. You know, in version 2, can we have something slightly better? I wouldn't even mind rebuying bands to prevent this annoyance from happening. But to be honest, once this goes on the armband, this blue band is probably never going to get used. I've had my Whoop on the armband pretty much all the time, and the only time it actually comes off is when I go for a swim and I put their rubber version of their sport band on. So right, that's that clipped in. Now in terms of how it looks, it's the same finish on top here that you have on the wrist strap, and on the inside again it's the same, very similar to the Garmin Ultra Fit. So before I put it on, I'm just going to grab my Whoop and we can just do a quick comparison with the Whoop. So the Whoop has a very different clasping mechanism, has pros and cons. There are pros and cons to both, I guess. The Whoop strap is very stretchy in comparison, which especially, this is I think their core knit version, which especially on the bicep is very good because in theory, you know, your bicep grows and shrinks quite a bit during, you know, depending on how you're moving your arm. The Garmin does have a little bit less stretch, and I do find probably this is slightly more comfortable, the Whoop version, than the Garmin version, but it's not bad at all. And I kind of, after wearing it for just over a day now, I've kind of forgotten that it's on my arm, which is kind of exactly what you want. The one thing that does cause a bit of sort of something that you notice to start with is if you look at the sides of the Garmin, the heart rate sensor protrudes a fair bit off the bottom, whereas on the Whoop it's nice and flush, pretty flush here. So you do notice this digging a bit more into your arm than you do notice the Whoop version digging in. So overall though, very good designs. The thing I like about the Garmin though is it's secured on both sides. There is an issue with the Whoop, which I will show you in a second, where because it's only secured on one side here, it's only secured here. I often find when I put clothes on that this kind of moves itself out of position, and you only know that it's moved out of position because the app then notifies you that the Whoop is off body, even though you're actually wearing it. So anyway, let's get this on. So literally open up the Velcro, feed your arm through. I've probably got a little bit of a mark here from where I've been wearing it. Yep, I have. Just slide it straight up and secure it down. Job's done. And if you keep it on the just above the bicep, then you'll find that it doesn't move up and down. You can also keep it a little bit looser, which makes it a bit more comfortable rather than having it very tight. And then it's disappeared. The great thing about this is then, you know, you've only got one thing on your wrists. You're not carrying around this thing on here and your regular mechanical watch, which I think for a lot of people is the point of getting the Cirqa, is you can wear your regular mechanical watch, and then when you need your Fenix or Forerunner, you can strap that on just for the specific GPS activity, whereas having this on your wrist still means you've kind of got two things on your wrist. Now I'm just going to stick the Whoop back on, and that again, it's got a different connector. Both work very well. The thing about the Whoop is you've got to adjust it, put it on, adjust it, put it on. Whereas with the Garmin, you can literally just pull it tighter, make it looser as you are there. To make this tighter and looser, you've got to take it all the way off, and you've got to sort of pull this through from either side to make it looser or tighter. Now the issue that I often have with my Whoop is when you take clothes off or you put clothes on, this can get knocked, and then the sensor is kind of sitting like this, and you won't necessarily realize until the app notifies you, and then you're not getting any of your wonderful metrics that you've been expecting. So you just need to make sure that that's down. So that's this side isn't particularly well secured, which does cause that from happening sometimes. You're not going to have that, and I haven't had that issue with the Cirqa. It just, because it's secured on both sides, it works really nicely. Now it's only available in black. It's not the easiest to get hold of at the moment. A lot of places are out of stock, but if you do have a look around on the internet, you will be able to find it. I managed to pick mine up, and I did have to pay an extra delivery charge, but for now, this is gone, it's out of the way. I'm currently wearing a Whoop and a Garmin, and you know, aside from me knowing that they're on my arms, no one else is any the wiser, which is nice. And you don't have to explain why you've got two things on your wrist to somebody when they ask you. Not that many people do, but it's nice just to have this out of the way. And because it's out of the way, you can just leave it there all the time. It doesn't get in the way. Just take it off when you go for a shower, put it back on, and that's it. Charge it once every 10 days or so, and very, very nice and comfortable. Do forget that you're wearing it. I find that I forget that I'm wearing it a lot more on the bicep, whereas I notice it more on my right wrist. I've been wearing a watch on my left wrist since probably I've been single-digit years old, so probably well over like 30 years at this point. Trying to then wear a watch on my right wrist, it just feels like a foreign experience. Even wearing the tracker, whenever I've double wristed, it's just my right wrist has never gotten used to wearing a watch. So I don't need to anymore. It's on my bicep. When I go out for a run, grab my Fenix, swap it on to here, take the Cirqa off so they're not conflicting with each other, and happy days. I'm very happy so far with the Garmin Cirqa. I've been testing it out a fair bit. It's working exactly as expected at the moment and syncing very nicely backwards and forwards with the Fenix, but I will definitely be back in a few days with a full video explaining, you know, my findings. One thing I forgot that you will need to do is you need to go into the app and tell Garmin where you're wearing it. So if you go into the Garmin Connect app, tap on the Cirqa symbol up here. Just going to change the lighting a little bit. Tap on the Cirqa symbol up here and Cirqa Smartband. If you scroll down to your user profile, and then you'll see some here that it says wearing location. Right, so you've got wearing location here. At the moment I've got it on wrist right because I had it on here, but now I'm going to put it to arm left, and now it knows that you're wearing it here. It's obviously going to adjust how it's collecting your metrics a little bit to make sure that it factors in that you're going to get less arm movement when you're walking, but probably better heart rate readings because you've got much more flesh here to read heart rate from than you do on your wrist. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe this video so you can catch the next one when it drops, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.